Alright, what's up guys? Back at it again with another video. Again, trying to post every week here. And today's just going to be the top 5 things that I wish I knew coming into Binghamton University. So, again, I'm going to preface this into me saying that, hey, like, some of the things I did when I first came here were kind of out of luck. Because I wasn't able to really tour colleges that much due to when I was applying, it was around the COVID time. So when I got into Binghamton and I went to orientation, that was like my first official time actually going to the school, because I wasn't able to. I did the virtual tour, but you know, that doesn't help all that much. Going straight into it, after describing that, the first thing I would say when getting into Binghamton University is your living, right? So I'm going to talk about the living, and I'm going to make a separate video on like everything about Binghamton if that's something you guys are interested in. But if possible, it would be ideal for you to get into the Dickinson community. So there's Dickinson, there's New Wing, there is College in the Woods, and there is Hinman. So I mean, no shade, because you know, where you live is where you live, and it's obviously what you make of it. But if you choose the right spot, then you know, you're gonna be geared towards a better outcome. So I mean, for me, I was lucky to get into Newing, but the best one on campus that you can go to is Dickinson, and simply because it's just new and it's suite style. So you'll have sometimes you'll have your own individual room. Everyone in a big room has their individual room, and there's like a living room space where you could go, and it's vibes. Or you can just have like a humongous, a relatively big, like 2-person spot. Dickinson's just great for rooming. You know, if you don't, you know, if you want space, that's basically the place to go, and cleanliness, because it's like that. However, I will say, depending on what floor you're on, obviously, but Dickinson is typically like not as active because it's just a suite. So not everyone's going into each other's rooms outside of the big room that each individual person has. So I was lucky to get into Newing, and that's the second place I would advise you to try to get into is Newing. But I will say Dickinson is harder because more people want to go to it, so applying to it is tough. So if you're scared, if you can't get that, and then you're stuck with getting, you know, a place that you don't like, then I would say try Newing, because Newing is where I lived, and I'm thankful for that because I got a great environment. It was really active my first year. I was on the 5th floor of Endicott, if you guys were wondering, and I had the best time. All my friends were there. We went in each other's rooms. It's a two-person dorm, just like how it is now. I'm still in Newing, but I'm in a different building called Broome, which is not as active, but you know, it is what it is. In terms of Newing, because I've lived here more, the most active buildings are gonna be Delaware and Bingham, and that's typically just because that's where most of the kind of like fraternity and sorority people kind of live in, and just like other people in general. But that's just what I found. In Dickinson, I'm not too sure about like what's the best, but I've been to Rayfuse the most. There's Rayfuse, Digman, and I can't remember the other two. Oh, O'Connor, and something else. If you're gonna do Dickinson, just don't do Digman. Don't do Digman. Do Rayfuse or O'Connor. I hear those are the best ones. And then for the rest of the communities, like you have College in the Woods. That's like really, like, you know, save that towards the end. Like that's the last. That and Hinman are both just like, I've always heard like stuff that people don't like about it, because it is old and it's not as like kept up. But some of the places, if you get the right spot, you'll have a big enough room. I would say that. Oh, speaking of which, I forgot Mountain View. Mountain View is another area you could live in, which is really good if you don't mind walking, because it's the farthest away from classes and from basically everything, and there's this hill going up to it. I think when you go for orientation, you go into Mountain View. I don't know if that's how it is every single time. That was my experience. So yeah, I would just say if you don't mind the walk, try it, because like you get a huge space. It's really nice. So second thing I'm talking about is food, right? Eating. So Binghamton, I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't have the most luxurious dining hall like some of these other places. If you're in Dickinson and Newing side, you're gonna be kind of compelled to go to C4, which is the dining hall here and next to them. So it's easier for you to get your food there. I would advise in terms of eating, because C4 I went to the most, but I would say the best on-campus dining hall just for like the dorming area would be either Hinman or College in the Woods. They have a little bit more of a selection, and if you go to College in the Woods, there's better breakfast. So that one's also a great dining hall. So I would say the better dining halls is, I mean, I'm at C4, so I don't, I'm not one to be favorites. I'm just saying in general what everybody else kind of likes is College in the Woods and App. Those are what I hear people go to, and Hinman. But yeah, but what I like, because I didn't really come here for the food, is C4. Now, if you're going to C4 and if you're going to any of these dining halls, what's important is to know the time in which certain foods come out, and sometimes this is difficult because, if you have class, it'll interfere. And that's what I was doing my first semester, and how I was gaining weight was because I had my classes, they would end around like 2 to 12, and then like I'd have something else, and then it'd be like another time later. And why that's important is because if you don't go at the time where they serve the real food, as in like the simple servings, or well, if you go to C4, they're more they have a kosher corner that opens up at 5. So if you miss that, then you miss your kosher food. So I would, last year, I would go in and it'd just be burgers and fries. It's like, then I have to wait another 2 hours for the real food to come out, right? So know when that happens and try to schedule yourself around, because it's open for a certain amount of time. Like it'll be open for like 3 hours. They just implemented a pasta bar, and that's where I go sometimes if it's open. I'm pretty sure it opens around from 3 to something. But my classes are early, so I don't really have to worry too much about time. And I also go to Simple Servings if it's there. And there's also like a Chipotle serving station where they have, all the stuff from Chipotle, but like not from Chipotle. It doesn't taste like Chipotle. It's just like a Chipotle serving spot, which is good. Everything's weighted if you get it from there. Simple Servings is not weighted. It's by the price that it's at already, the fixed price. And then at night, they're at C4 and at App, because most places are not open late all the time, but C4 always has late night. So if you're hungry, you could always go and get something there. It closes at 1 a.m. pretty sure, and there I get Simple Servings. Because the chicken at night, I don't know what they do to it, but it's fire. It just tastes, the grilled chicken just tastes better at night than it does in the evening, and I don't know why. And I get that typically that have rice and stuff like that. So, I'm eating cleaner now, and that's an important thing to think about, because you're like, if you don't think about the time, then you're just stuck eating fast food basically, and the fast food actually costs more than if you were having like the Simple Servings. So keep that in mind. And I'll make a separate video on dealing with budgeting and stuff like that, because that's happening a lot to people here. So the third thing I would talk about today is about joining organizations, right? You need to go to organizations. And I did. I did join. My first year, I went to Finance Society. I'm a business student. I'm an SOM, so I want to find out more about finance, because that's what I wanted to do in the beginning, and I was just focused on that. Now, I can make a separate video on the finance route here at Binghamton and just in general, because it's kind of universal. But typically, if you're doing finance, you kind of have to go all in your first well, you have to really care about it your first year and your second year, because recruiting happens in your sophomore year typically. So you need to be ready for that, and you need to be educated enough for that, even if you're not taking classes, and that's why you go to the club. But what I wish I did was explored other areas, because I didn't realize how many clubs and organizations Binghamton has that are helpful to you, even though it may not seem like, that's not what I want to do, but if you just try it out, it will really propel you to a different spot. And I'm gonna make videos on this stuff, because it has helped me extremely in my journey here in college. And whatever college you go to, not even Binghamton, go to clubs. If you want to do a fraternity or sorority, do that too. That's another way to get your image and yourself around campus and stuff like that. So I just really recommend that. The fourth thing I'm going to mention about Binghamton is that classes. And if you're in the math department, rest in peace, engineering, all those people, you're going to need to go to extra help. You're going to need to go to extra help. Even if you're not in math, even if you're in a different major and you don't get it, you need to go to extra help. There's tutors here that help you. And I mentioned math because my first year I did calculus here, and it was tough. And I went to tutoring, but I went to tutoring towards the end because I didn't know where it was. I didn't know how it is. But the math department tutoring, they got a lot of tutors there, and it's very beneficial, and they will help you a lot. And go to your teachers too, talk to your teachers. You should have already, heard that advice in high school, but if not, talk to your teachers too. Get to know them, because they're the ones, if not the TA, will grade your stuff and know you and know that you're either hardworking or you're not. And then you get opportunity based off of that, right? So it's important to go for help and for tutoring, and it's not like you're a loser if you do it, because you need to get that material down so you can ace the test. That's important. That's very important. I would say go to tutoring for whatever you can. We have on-campus tutoring in CIW, College in the Woods, and there's a tutoring service, University tutoring services online. You can book appointments on there, or you can message the TA that's in your class if you have one. And a TA is a teaching assistant for your class, whatever that is. Typically for gen eds, I'm gonna be for real, like, you don't really need to do that, but it depends on which gen ed you're taking, general education course. And I can make a separate video on, the general education courses I'm taking, or that I have taken here, and what I enjoyed. But besides that, go to tutoring, because that helped me a lot for my math class. Even though I didn't do too well at the end, it helped me propel my knowledge more than if I didn't go to it at all. Like, if I didn't go to it, it would have been over for me. But I decided to take the leap, go out, and it was beneficial. So, and now I always go to tutoring if I really don't understand anything, and it's very clutch. So, yeah. So the fifth thing I wish I knew about Binghamton is the gym, right? If you're a wellness person, if you like working out and stuff like that, the gym is going to be one of your priorities. And it's important to know the times when it's busy and when it's not. Now, the Binghamton gym here is small, okay? It is small, but I didn't think it'd be that important, because I'm already an early bird, so I didn't expect, and the light comes out. I'm an early bird, so I didn't expect people to really, go in the gym in the morning, and that's kind of the case. It is relatively empty, but I've been here for 2 years, obviously, and people actually go to the gym pretty early, probably for the same reason that if you go in the afternoon at a certain time, everybody and their mother wakes up and starts working out at the gym, and it's almost impossible to get in a machine. You're going to be waiting there forever. Even if you cut into someone's set and work in with them, it's still going to be a long day if you were to be in that gym. But I will say, if you go, these are the hours. These are the key hours. People may have different opinions, but these are the times when I haven't been able to go in the morning, then I go at these times because I know it's relatively empty. So in the morning, obviously, anywhere from them opening it up, which is at 5:30 a.m. to around 9 a.m. is the most ideal time, obviously. But if you can't, the best time is between 12 to 3, and past that at night, it gets very crowded from 6 to 9. And so I would say from around 9 to 11 would be where I would cut that off. 9 through 11 is, so the best times, 5:30 to 9, 12 to 3, and 9 to 11. Those are the best times I've found. I go typically in the morning, but those are the times people are just like not there, and it's very good. But you know, like if you want to work out with your friend, you know, I when I first came here, I was working out with some of my friends here, and you know, you go in, it's like you can't even get in a machine, you can't even do the exercise that you want if you come in at like the most peak time, because the gym doesn't have that many machines. But they do have like great machines. Like they have the bench press, they have squat racks, they have 4 squat racks technically, and they have a bunch of cardio machines. But the cardio machines, you know, that stuff is like no, that stuff is not getting full, but they have those. And then they actually have a boxing hip bag and like a fit space area where you could do like calisthenics, which I like. That's cool. But you have to pay for that to get into that space. However, if you wanted to play basketball, because we have a basketball, there's a full court, then you don't have to pay. You just have to be a student and you're good. There's also a swimming pool, and you could go in that without being a student. With being a student, you don't have to pay for that, and you're good. So it's only really the fit space and the gym that you actually have to pay for. And those are the things I wish I knew. If there's anything else that I missed, anything else that you want me to cover, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.